Hi, we cannot hear you. Is anyone speaking?
I'm sorry, I was speaking. Okay, thank you. I forgot to unmute myself. All right, let me start over because it means the recording is not going to have it either. All right, so good afternoon. Welcome to today's session, Introduction to EndNote. We're going to go over EndNote basics. I'm Megan Bell. I'm one of the librarians at UAB Libraries, and I'll be the presenter today. So these are the learning objectives. I'm going to talk to you about where EndNote should not be saved. There are certain places you have to put it. I'll also talk to you about what files are needed in order for EndNote to function correctly on your computer. I'll go over what is a personal library and how do you create one. We'll talk about output styles. I'll explain to you what that is and where do you find them. I'll also talk to you about how to add references to your library. I'll talk to you about using the group feature and what's the benefit of using the group feature. And I'll show you how to insert references into a Word document and how to format those references. So EndNote is a software that can help you save time. You can put all your citations from various projects into one location. You can also download the PDF of those references and you can annotate them and highlight them and things like that if you want to make any notes on them about, you know, anything about whatever. And you can also organize your references into groups so it can help you, like if you have multiple projects you're working on, you can collect citations for various projects into different groups. And it also integrates with Microsoft Word. And so it's really easy to click of a button. EndNote has thousands of citation styles, including citations for specific journals, as well as general citation formats such as APA or AMA, things like that. And so anyway, if you have your manuscript written in one particular citation style, and then for whatever reason, if you have to change the citation style to something else, you can just click a button in Microsoft Word and it automatically updates your citations for you. And updates it in the in-text citations as well as the bibliography for you. So it can save you a lot of time. We have a guide on how to use EndNote. So the things I'm going to go over for the day, there are videos there and screenshots on how to do these things. So feel free to go to that particular online guide if you have any specific questions. So first of all, talk about how to get EndNote. So UAB has a campus-wide subscription to EndNote. So you can go to UAB on the hub and in the search box where it says product search, you type in EndNote. And then you just download the software. And it is you'll at one point it's going to ask you you'll see two options basically. You have to download the one that's for your operating system. So there's one for a Mac and there's one for Windows, and you just select the when you get to that screen and you see those two options, just select the correct option for the computer you're downloading it for. Also, I will say that the people on the academic side have access to this software, but the hospital side doesn't. So if you have two email addresses, if you have both the MC email address and the academic one, you'll have to use your academic email address or academic Blazer ID in order to download the software. For those who are on the health system side of campus, you can use, there's a free version. It's a free online version of EndNote. It has limited, it doesn't have as many features as the desktop version has, but that of it, the people on the health sciences side, sorry, the health system side, they can use the free online version. So let's talk about where to not save your EndNote library. So think about EndNote as being sort of like, think about like Microsoft Word, right? Microsoft Word is a software and it's on your computer, but you can open multiple documents on your computer. So think about the library as being sort of like a document that you create, right? So you create the library and then you put citations into that particular library. The best practice is to have just one library and to create groups within that library to organize the different projects that you're working on. So that's the best practice. And part of the reason for that is that you can only connect your EndNote library to one online account. And so if you have multiple libraries and you try to connect them all to your one online account, eventually your libraries won't be separate anymore. They're going to all get mixed together. So, which defeats the purpose of having like separate libraries. So anyway, the best thing is just to have one library and connect it to one online account. So you may ask, Megan, what's going on with the online account? So the reason I'm mentioning the online account is this is a feature. We're not really going to go over this today, but there is a feature in EndNote that you can connect the library that's on your desktop to the cloud environment. And that's useful. So that way, if your computer ever like crashes or there's any kind of problem or anything, when it's connected to the cloud, you'll be able to retrieve whatever you may have lost on your computer. So that's something to keep in mind. So you don't want to save EndNote library to the cloud environment. Now, these are two separate things I'm talking about. So what I mean is that the actual library that's on your computer, like, and you'll see that in a few slides, and I'll go live also and show you. There's an option where just like when you have a Word document and you can save that Word document wherever you want to save it, right? You can save it to Google Drive, you can save it to iCloud, you can save it to Box or whatever. You have that same option when it comes to the library. When you create a library, it's going to ask you, where do you want to save it? When you're creating that library, you do not want to save it to the cloud environment. So like if you're on a Mac, and if your Mac is automatically saving your desktop and your documents automatically to iCloud, then you'll need to save your EndNote library to your applications folder because that is on the hard drive of your computer. So your library has to be saved on the hard drive of your computer, but you can connect the library that is saved on the hard drive of your computer to an EndNote online account where your citations will be saved to a cloud environment. So do you need me to explain that again, or does that make sense?
Understood. I understand that.
Okay. All right. If it comes, if you have any questions or you get confused about it, you can always ask a question in the workshop, or you follow up with me after today, and I'm happy to explain it. All right. So another place you do not want to save your library is to a USB drive. So don't save it to a USB drive, and you also do not want to save it to the network. So you have to save it on the hard drive of your local computer. If you save it to any of the places I mentioned, if you save it to the cloud environment, the USB drive or network, eventually your library may become corrupted and it won't work correctly. So that's one thing to keep in mind. All right, next thing. Let me see. Okay. So the next thing I want to mention is that there are two pieces of your EndNote library. So when you create an EndNote library, you'll see the purple little icon that's purple. That's where the actual citations are. So like the author name, the abstract, the title of the article, the title of the journal, whatever. And that's saved in the purple part. In the blue part, the blue folder, that's where your PDFs are saved. So these are the two pieces of any EndNote library you create. Those are, whenever you create the library, they're going to be those two pieces in there. So the part where the citations are, that's called the .enl file. And the part where the PDFs are, that's called the .data file. In order for your EndNote library to function correctly, those two pieces need to be in the same location, right? So for example, if you have them in documents, they both have to be in documents. If they're on your desktop, they both have to be on desktop. If you create a subfolder for them, they both have to be in that subfolder. So if for whatever reason you happen to move your site, you decide to move your library from one place to another, just know there are two pieces and you have to move both pieces in order for your EndNote library to function correctly. Another place this may come in handy, we're not gonna get into this today, but another time that's gonna be important for you to realize that there are two pieces of your EndNote library is this: if you ever use a software such as Covidence. Now, Covidence is another campus subscription that we have, and I know a lot of people on campus are doing systematic reviews. And so if you once you get to the full text part of that particular project, and you want to do bulk upload, most people tend to use EndNote to help them to collect all the PDFs for them, and then you can bulk upload those PDFs into Covidence. And so anyway, there's a part of that process where you're going to have to navigate to the .data file in order to bulk upload those PDFs. That's another reason where it would be important for you to understand there are two different pieces and what is it asking you to do. So when you want to create an EndNote library,
if you would like to speak to someone about an appointment or
okay. When you want to create an EndNote library, so you open the application on your computer, and then you select File, and then you click New, and it's going to open a new library. All right, I'm going to go back. So when you do that, I'm going to go live so I can show you. All right, so I'm going to go File, and then New. All right, so when I do that, by default, it names it My EndNote Library. You can rename it whatever you want to. Also, pay attention to where it is saving your library. So right now, it's in my Documents folder. If I want to save it somewhere else, I can save it to desktop, wherever I want to put it. But just pay attention to where your library is saved. So you may need to know that again when you need to find it, to just know where to navigate to it. All right, so you can name whatever you want to. And but wherever you save it, make sure it's on the local drive of your computer. So I'm on a Mac. My desktop and documents they don't automatically sync to iCloud. But if they did, instead of saving my library to the desktop or documents, instead I would have to save it to my applications folder because it has to be on the hard drive of your computer. I'm going to click cancel right now. But if you were really doing this, you would name it whatever you want to name it. Remember where you're saving it and then click save. And I'm gonna click File and Open Library. I just want to show you something else. So notice, let's see. Let's look at this one. Okay. EndNote tutorial dash duplo dot data. Okay. So I just want to point out that when you create a library and it's creating those two pieces, they're going to have the exact same name. The only difference is going to be the extension on the end. So the PDFs are going to be in the .data and the actual citations are going to be in the .enl. Just wanted to point that out to you. If you ever see it where it looks like it's a name and then it says .enlx, that means that your .data and .enl files are together. That means they're combined together. But they won't stay combined together. If I ever like click to open this, when it opens, it's gonna create these two files. So. And when you would see this is you can create a compressed library. So if someone wanted to email you an EndNote library, they would email to you as a compressed library, and the file would show up like this. And then when you double clicked on it, it would open, and then it would look like these two. Right. Any questions so far?
I have one question. So when you upload any files, does it automatically create the the second file for you, or is that an extra step?
What do you mean?
So let's say I'm uploading a PDF, but I also want to save it, and with the bibliography information.
Oh, you mean the bibliography? When you say bibliography, do you mean like the reference list?
My apologies, citation.
Oh, a citation. Okay.
So
right.
Is it creating it for you automatically?
Yes, it is. So you are exporting a citation from whatever database into the EndNote, it is going to create the citation for you. And I'll show you that as well. So there are places you'll be able to see it within the EndNote software, and you can also see it in Microsoft Word as well. And I'll show you that. All right. So I see some questions in the chat. One question is, do you need to have the PDF or can you insert just a citation? Both. You can do either or. So you can, if you have some PDFs already saved to your computer and you want to upload them into EndNote, you can do that. And if there's metadata attached to those PDFs, it can automatically like upload the PDFs and it'll upload the metadata with them. So sometimes it works that way. Sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes it'll upload the PDF and it won't upload the metadata. When I say metadata, I mean like the author name, journal, all that stuff like that. Sometimes it'll like when you upload the PDF, it'll automatically like upload all the information with it, but sometimes that won't work, and then you'd have to manually do it. So you can do the PDF, but you can also insert just a citation too. So you can insert a citation manually, or you can go to a database and you can export a citation from the database into EndNote. So you can do both. Next question is, can anyone import their library from other softwares like Zotero? Yes, you can. You can. If you have citations that are already in a different citation management software, you can upload them. Yeah, you can upload them in a certain file type. So you may be able to export them as either like an XML file or maybe an RIS file, and then you can upload them into EndNote. And I will make a note to myself to find instructions on that. And so when you all get the recording, I can send you a link on how to do that too. All right, exporting citations from databases. So which databases do you all tend to use? And I'll try to make sure I cover those and show you how to do it. All right, PubMed, anything else?
Embase,
Okay. All right, let's see, Google Scholar, Embase, Cinol. What's Campus Lib? Oh, the campus library?
Yes.
Okay, I can show you that too. Project Muse, OC Worker. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty quick for me to go over some of those, so I can show you those things. Web of Science, all right. Yeah, because sometimes it will look a little bit different in different databases. So yeah, it'll be pretty quick for me to show you how to do it in different databases, no problem. All right, so the slides only have slides of PubMed and another database called, well, it's any EBSCO database, really, like whether it's Cinol or Academic Search Premier or Business Source Complete or something like that. So I'll show you that, and then I'll also show you the other databases you all mentioned too. All right, so depending on what browser you're using, it may look a little different. It won't look different from the database side, but it may look different like on the end, towards the end. But anyway, when it's exporting so there are two options. Sometimes it'll export the database, it'll export the citations directly from the database into EndNote. And that can definitely happen if you're in Firefox or Chrome. It can do what's called direct export, and it can send the citations directly from whatever database into EndNote for you. I will say sometimes if you're on a Mac, you may have to do a few extra steps. So I don't know, I'm on a Mac, I'll see what it does for me today. But either way, I'll show you how to do it. And if you're on Edge, I'm not sure if it does direct export from Edge, but I mean, you can still use it. It just may be an extra step. And definitely if you're in Safari, it goes to your downloads folder. You have to send it from the downloads folder into EndNote. So it is like an extra step if you use Safari, but if you use Firefox or Chrome, it should be pretty easy for you. So when you're in PubMed, you select, there are checkboxes to the left of the titles of the articles that you retrieve, and you just click the checkbox next to the citations that you want to send to EndNote. And then from there, the top of the screen, there's a button that says Send To. You click that button, and then you'll see a drop-down menu. It says Selection, and there is a drop-down menu. And you can select, you can click Selection. If you have a certain number, it may have the number that's there. But you do Selection, and then you click Create File. And when you click Create File, it's going to go to your Downloads folder. Now from there, if you're on Edge, then you'll see like this yellow box, maybe towards at the bottom of your screen. You can just click Open, and when you click Open, it should go automatically into EndNote. If you're on Firefox, then you may see this box pop up in the middle of your screen, and then you can select Open With, and then in the drop-down menu, select EndNote, and then you click OK, and it goes directly into EndNote. If you're on Chrome, then in the lower left of the screen, you may see a file download, and then you click the little arrow where this drop-down menu appears, and you select open, and then it'll go to the EndNote software. And in Safari, you just, it will go to the downloads button. I'm sorry, it goes to the downloads folder, and then you can drag it to the EndNote icon on your dock, or there are several more steps. Is anyone here on a Mac? Does anyone here use a Mac? Okay, so I guess most of your Windows. All right. Well, if necessary, I might just show you what to do as a backup plan anyway. All right, and if you're in any of these databases that we have access to, so look a little different. You do your search. Again, there's a checkbox to the left of the title. You select the checkbox, and then there are these little quotation marks at the top of the screen, and you click the quotation marks. And then from there, a box is going to pop up, and you select the tab that says Export Citation. And you select the last option that says Export in RIS format, and it will then go to your Downloads folder. And then from there, again, you follow one of these steps, one of these options to send it from your Downloads folder into EndNote. So I'll go live now. Okay. So I'll do PubMed first. All right, so I select the article that I want to send. And also a thing to know is that when it uses what's called the direct exports feature, which means basically it goes directly from the database into your EndNote library, it's going to go into whatever was the last EndNote library you opened. So the most recent EndNote library I have open is this EndNote tutorial, so it should come to this library. So I'm going to close this. And even if it's not open, like even though, yes, I do have this open on my desktop, but even if this wasn't opened, whichever EndNote library was the last one I opened, that's the one it's going to send it to. So just keep that in mind. All right, so I click Send To, and I select Citation Manager, and then it says Selection 1, because I only have one thing selected. And I select Create File, and I'm in Firefox, so it comes up here, and I just click this, and it should go directly. So I'm going to open this and see if it went there. Yep, it did. So here it is, came directly into EndNote. So I'm going to minimize this. I'll go to the next database. Oops. UAB. Library. I'll click this. All right, I'm going to do it from our catalog first, and then I'll do it from some of the databases you all asked me, you all mentioned. All right. So what you can do is you can click this little 3 little dots here, and this is what you can use export as RIS. You click this, and then you click download, and then again it goes to my downloads option, and I click on it, and it's in EndNote. Oh, and let me show you. You are seeing, let me move this. All right, so right now, if I click on summary, I can see all the different things that it exported with it. So for this one, it brought in the author, the year, the title, the journal, and various information about the citation. All right, so now I'm going to go to our databases. And I'll do academic search prepared, just to give you an example of anything coming from an EBSCO database. So again, I'll do a search. So I select the option that I would like, and then I click the quotation marks. I select export citation, and then I click the last option. It goes to my downloads folder. Click on it. And here it is. Now, let me just show you a different option. Just in case like the direct export doesn't work, you still have a backup plan. So as long as the citation goes to your downloads, even if it doesn't go directly there, your other option is, I'm gonna just select a different one. And this will work in any database. So I'm selecting an option and I'm going to follow the steps, send it there. But this time, instead of clicking on this, I'm gonna just open EndNote. And so your other option is you can open EndNote, you can go to File, and then you go to Import. And then I navigate to my downloads folder. This is the most recent thing. Notice the end of it says RIS. Now this is more work, but notice the end of it says RIS. So you may not have to do this on a Windows, but if you're on a Mac, you will have to do this. So I need to make sure I select the correct filter to make sure that EndNote can recognize the file. So when it says import options and it says reference manager, so for this, since that you saw that this says RIS and this says RIS, so I need to make sure that matches. But there are other options. Like for example, if it was coming from PubMed, you would select this. If it was coming from, we have another database called Ovid Medline, you would select this option. Someone also mentioned Web of Science. If you were coming from Web of Science, you select this one. So just make sure it matches. But for most databases, you're going to select RIS because most of them are RIS. And you'll see it at the end, the little end of the file, you'll see that. All right, so RIS. You do have an option whether you want to just, like for example, okay, this time I only have one option, so it's probably not a big deal. But let's say you had like multiple citations in your EndNote library and you did not want to import any duplicates. You can, right now, you can see it says, I have an option of telling it to discard duplicates. So if it finds anything that's already in my EndNote library and I don't want it to come in again, it'll automatically discard it for me. Or I could tell it import everything. So you have that option. I'm gonna leave it on discard duplicates. Really, those first two are the only ones I ever have to do anything with. I don't ever do anything with this. All right, so then I select import and import it 0. So it must already be in here. All right, let me try it again. But that is what you would see if it found a duplicate. It would tell you how many it exported and how many it got rid of because it was a duplicate. All right, I'm gonna do this again. And this time I'm gonna say just import everything. Import. Okay, and there it goes. So that is your backup option. If the direct import doesn't work, you can do this part. You can do that. All right, any questions so far? Oh wait, there may be questions. Let me look. Okay. Okay, some people did say you're on a Mac. Medline too. All right, we'll do that. Okay, so PubMed is Medline. But Medline is also in Ovid Medline too, but I can show you that, no problem. All right, so next thing, let me open this and I'm gonna put this chat on the side so I can keep an eye on it. All right, so that was EBSCO. You also mentioned Embase. Okay. So you do your search. Oops. Okay. All right, so again, you select the checkbox next to the items you would like to import. Now, I will tell you that for this particular database, if you retrieve more than 500 results, you will have to log in order to export the citations. But if it's less than 500, you can just export the citations, no problem. All right, so I select export, and notice it's going to be in RIS format. And then I click export, and then I download, goes to my downloads folder, and I can just click this. And then there it is. Great, I'm gonna do this one. All right, next. Let me look at what else you all asked me to do. Web of Science, Project Muse, Google Scholar. Okay. So again, select the option that you like, and then you select export, and then you select, since we're doing EndNote on the desktop, you select EndNote on the desktop. And then, I mean, this isn't an option because I only selected one, but if you had more than one, you can export up to 1,000 records at a time. But you can select either all records on the page or records from 1 to whatever number, you know, if it was 1 to 20 or whatever. But for me, it's only one, so I'm going to select one. And then also in this drop-down menu, and this actually was also, I think it was also an Embase too. But just make sure that the option, for example, right now by default, it's only going to export author, title, and source. So really that's author, title, and like title of the journal. But if you know you want the abstract, then make sure you select author, title, source, and abstract. And the same thing with Embase. Make sure that it's selected, that what it's sending you is includes the abstract if you know you want that. Then you click export, and again it goes in. And I can click, and here it is. OCLC WorldCat Project Muse. Let me see. View citation. Let's see. I've never done it from Project Muse, so it's taking me a minute to figure it out. I see the EndNote option, but I don't see how to actually send it over. There must be a way to do it though. All right, I'm gonna figure this out, and I can send you instructions when the recording goes out, because I haven't done it in this one before, and it may take me a minute to figure it out. All right, I have done it in WorldCat though, so that one should be pretty easy. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know, WorldCat is a catalog of many different libraries. And so some people, I can tell you the way I use it. I tend to go there like if I don't want to have to type in a print book, like all the citation information for a print book, I may just go to WorldCat and try to find the citation and export the citation in EndNote really quickly. Okay. All right, so you click on this. All right, so I believe you click on Cite, and then you export to RIS, and then you can open it. And then there you go. You have the citation from WorldCat. Okay, and Google Scholar. All right, so this is important. When you want to export something from Google Scholar, you need to change the settings in Google Scholar because there's a certain link you need to see underneath your results in order to export it. So you go to three little bars in the top left, and you click to the bottom in the drop-down list, go to the, well, in the list, go to the last option that says settings. And then in the last option, again, that says bibliography manager, select the last radio button, and then this drop-down menu, select EndNote. And so now you're going to see a link that appears underneath all of your results. So click save. And so now it says import into EndNote. And so if I want to import any of these options, I can just, select import. You have to go one at a time though. So in the databases, you can select multiple options, but for Google Scholar, you'd have to do it one at a time. But whenever I need to retrieve multiple citations from Google Scholar, I usually use the software called Publish or Perish, and I can show you that really quickly. And that's if I need to do like a bulk search in Google Scholar. That way I don't have to do it one at a time. But if I only want a few things from Google Scholar, then you can do it this way. So anyway, it's in downloads. I click, and here it goes. So I'm going to try to show you the software I use whenever you want, if you want to import multiple citations from Google Scholar. Let's see, here we go. Okay, so it's called Publish or Perish. And this is what it looks like. And you can search Google Scholar directly. So you can click Google Scholar and you can type in whatever your keywords are, or wherever you want to search. If you want to search only in the title for words, you could do that. Or you can search for keywords. You can also put in any date limitations you want to do. And you can also tell it, and this is what I usually do also as well, because notice here in Google Scholar, you're getting like, of course I only have one word, but still, I'm getting like all these results, right? But if you do it in Publish or Perish, you can tell it to only retrieve a certain number of results, like only 50 results, or only want 20 results, or, whatever. You can tell it that. But anyway, so if you're going to do a search here, you can do that search, and then you can click this little drop-down menu that says save results, and then you can bulk upload them into EndNote. So if you had like 10 or 20 or something like that, you won't have to go like each one at a time, click on each one at a time. If you use this software, you can just send them all at one time. Right, any questions? We're good. All right, moving on to the next thing. Okay, getting organized. All right. So using the group feature. So the group feature is a way for you to organize your citations. So you can create groups or group sets of things. You can label them, whatever you want, whatever makes sense to you. So I'm going to go back to EndNote. So first, let's look at what we're seeing here. I'm going to make this bigger. So at the top, it says all references. So right now in this particular library, I have over 1,300 references. That's the total number of references in my library. Right now I have this, this means that there's one citation that's associated with a Word document. In other words, like I've already started using some references from this library in a Word document, and so it's showing me that. Import references. So this is the most recent reference that I just sent into EndNote, so I can see that. Recently added. So this is like the most recent thing, and this is kind of like, what have you done in the, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how long it holds it. So I don't know if it's like what I've done today or what I've done this hour. I'm not sure, but it is like recent, what's been done recently. And then this one shows you like the last thing you did, basically. Now, unfiled, that means these are things that I have not put in a group. So right now I have over 900 citations that I have not put in a group. Trash, whenever you delete something, it goes to your trash first. In order for you to permanently get rid of it, you have to empty your trash or delete it from your trash. So your groups, you can put things in groups, and you can also make group sets. So to create a group, you have two options. You can either, if you're on a Mac, you can do the 2-finger click where it says group, and you get this drop-down menu, and you can select create a group or create a group set, and then you name it. The other option is you can go at the top, and there's a option that says groups, and you can again select create group or create I don't see, oh yeah, I'll create a group set. You can go either way. So I'm going to just select create group. You name it something. And then you click return. If you're on a Windows, then you could do a right click. You can right click to get the drop down menu. All right, now in order to move something into your group, you just highlight it, and you can highlight more than one. I'm gonna go to unfiled. And then you just drag it there, and then that moves it. So you still have the same amount in your all references, it's just now your things are organized various ways. Now, another option, that's one way to manually do it. Another option is you can use, and I'm going to just, get this drop down menu. So create group means you have to do it manually. You could create what's called a smart group, which can save you time. So you can create these rules. So you name your group, whatever, and create these rules. Like, for example, you could say if the author is whatever, if the author is Smith or whatever, automatically put it in this group. If the year is 2025, automatically put it in this group. Or if the title contains the word diabetes, automatically put it in this group, whatever. And it works both prospectively and retrospectively. So anything that's already in your library that meets that rule is going to put it there. And any new thing you import into your library is going to automatically put it there. So that can save you some time. It means you don't have to manually go in and do things. It's going to automatically do it for you. So I'll give you an example. Let's see. Adults, and I'm going to say title contains adult. Create, and then look, it automatically did it for me. So anything that had the adult in the title, adults in the title, it automatically put it in that group. Okay, so when you highlight something, it shows up on the right. And again, these are the different options that you're seeing. Author, you see the year, title, journal, volume, all the different things. All of that is automatically coming over from the databases. You can also do things manually. References, you click reference, new reference, and then you can manually add something in there. When you are importing anything that is from a website, so if you ever need to citate, something from a CDC or anything that's on the website, you're gonna have to do it manually. Now, this drop-down menu is very important because this drop-down menu controls how EndNote formats your citations. So if it's not a journal article, make sure you select the right thing. If it's, make sure, whatever it is, make sure you select the correct thing. So if it's a journal article, or if it's an online database or a book or a web page, just make sure you select the correct thing because that controls how EndNote is going to format your citation for you. And you don't have to fill in all of these boxes. You only fill in what's necessary for the citation style that you're going to use. So, okay, and then once you complete whatever boxes you need to complete, make sure you select a file. And I haven't done anything yet, but you will be able to click save and just make sure you save it. So I'm going to exit out of this. All right, another thing I want to point out to you. I'm going to make this smaller. Okay. Wait, why is it not? Oh, it's on summary. All right, so I mentioned to you about output styles. So the output styles are basically basically the bibliography style. What are your references are going to actually look like? What is your in-text citation and your reference going to look like? Okay, so there are two places you can see that. In EndNote, if you have it on summary, if you look at the bottom of this part of the screen, this is going to show you what your citation style is going to look like in your reference list. So right now, this is where you would see the output style, this drop down menu. Right now it says all fields, and that's why I'm seeing this. But if I change this to like APA, then this is what the citation is going to look like in APA, right? So this is the way you can make sure things are formatting correctly before you actually put them in your Word document if you want to. And you can also, if it's a student or something like that, they need to put a citation into a Canvas document or something like that. Anyway, you can directly copy from this and paste it, wherever you want to. So you can do that too. Now it won't, if you copy and paste it from here, it won't do your in-text citation, but if you only need it, the reference citation, then this is, one place you can get it. All right, so from here, you can also, so this is summary. If you need to change anything in your citation, you click edit, and then you can make any changes here in any of these boxes, and then just make sure you click save when you're finished. If you want to add a PDF, this is where you would do it. So there would be an option here to add a PDF, and you would add it. So this one already has a PDF attached to it. And I can click, let's see, I can make this, no, okay. Open PDF, a new window. All right. So I can see the full PDF, and I can make any changes that I want to, not changes, but I can annotate it. Whenever you see a paperclip next to a citation, that means there's a PDF attached to it. If there's no paperclip, that means there's no PDF attached to that one. Okay, so we're gonna go to Microsoft Word. So I'm in Microsoft Word. If EndNote was downloaded correctly, you should see a tab that says EndNote, whatever version you have. So if you have version 21, you'll see 21. If you have 20, you'll see 20. The most recent version is 21. So if you don't have EndNote yet and you go to UAB on the hub and download it, you'll be downloading EndNote 21. All right, so you click this, and when you're ready to insert a citation, you look for these quotation marks on the left. So I'm gonna just type in a sentence. All right. So when I'm doing it in APA citation, I should have it inside the period. So wherever my cursor is blinking, that's where it's going to insert the citation. So I click the quotation marks, and this box pops up. In this little search box, I type in any keyword. It could be the author's name, it could be the year, it could be something from the title, the abstract, whatever, whatever. So I'm going to click adults. And so now it brings in things that match the keyword that I put in. And I can select one or more of any of these options. So I'm going to select this one and this one. And then if I do the insert, I could just click this button, and it's going to do the default option. But I can also click this little arrow, and I have multiple options. I can do author year. I can do insert the year and exclude the author, and various options here. So I'm going to just do the default option. All right, so this is my in-text citation, and it automatically starts my bibliography for me at the end of the document. So that's why I'm seeing it here. And the citation style within Microsoft Word is in the EndNote tab. There's an option that says style, and then there's a drop-down menu. And this is where I can change my style. And so I have these options, but if I need another style, I can click the option that says select another style. And there are thousands of styles that are here. And if this doesn't have what you need, you can also go to EndNote online and download additional citation styles too. All right, so that's how I insert a citation. Now, if I want to remove a citation, the correct way to do it is I click on the option that I want to remove. Another thing I want to point out to you is notice that when I clicked on this citation, it turns gray. If your EndNote library is connected to your Word document, when you click on a citation, it will turn gray. If you click on a citation and it does not turn gray, it is no longer connected to EndNote. So something happened, and yeah, it's not. So just be aware of that. So you click on the citation that you would like to change, and then you click the option that says edit and manage citations. And this box pops up. Now this box is telling you everything that is in this document that is currently connected to EndNote, right? And so if I want to remove anything, I just go to the thing that I want to remove. So if I want to remove this one, and then I go to the far right, and if you're on a Mac, you'll see these three little dots, or you could see a little like gear. You may see that too. If you're on Windows, it's going to be in the same location, but it may look a little different. I don't remember exactly what the wording says, but you'll see a drop-down menu to the far right. So you highlight it and you select the drop-down menu, and then you select the option that says remove citation. And then you click OK. And that is the correct way to remove it. And so now it removes it from your in-text citation and it removes it from your reference list automatically. If you didn't do that, if you just selected delete, it may not save your change and you may log into your document later and then you'll find, the citations are still there. So the correct way to do it is the way I just showed you how to do it. Now, one more thing I want to point out to you is that, so this is in APA style. APA style is supposed to be, the reference list is supposed to be double spaced. You cannot control the double spacing from this home thing here, from the home option, right? That only controls the manuscript part of your paper. But the reference part of your paper, if it's connected to EndNote, the way to get this part to be double spaced is you select the EndNote tab and you go to configure bibliography. For some of you, it may be like a little like triangle or a little like arrow thing you may see in a little corner. But you look for the option that says configure bibliography. And it's thinking. And so this box is going to push up here. Select the option that says layout. And then where it says line spacing, it says single, you go to double. And I can also, if you wanted to, I could change the format here. I could put it on Times New Roman or whatever I want to put it on. And I can also change the font size too here if I wanted to as well. And this, if I wanted to change it from references to bibliography, I could do that here. But for right now, the only thing I'm changing is line spacing. And I click OK. And then it double spaces it for me. And it's going to continue to do that throughout my entire document. It's going to double space every citation that comes in. All right, any questions? All right, well, I guess one more thing I can show you is that, okay, so I mentioned that it's really easy to change it from one citation style to another. So right now it's on APA. If I needed to change it to, JAMA, I can just select JAMA and then it automatically updates it. Updated here my in-text citation and automatically updated my reference list too. What's the difference with groups versus, okay. Is that the way we create groups? So, okay, yeah. So groups versus group set, it's just a different way to organize your citations. So yeah, the only way you really kind of see the difference is when it connects to EndNote Online. When it connects to EndNote Online, you'll see like a difference. But really, the bottom line is it's just a different way to. It's just ways to create groups and subgroups within your library. That's all it is. Yeah. All right, so I've mentioned EndNote. I'm sorry, syncing it. Okay, so I just want to quickly mention to you that if you create it, here's how to do it. So see it says sync configuration. Okay, I have multiple Mac devices, laptop. Okay, so all right, so that's a good point. Now, so you can, when you download, if you go to UAB on the hub and you download the EndNote software, once you have that, you can download it on multiple devices, right? So it's going to be in your, I think I can your checkout. Let me see if I can actually go there. Before I do that, let me finish what I was going to say about this. All right. So sync, I don't want to sync this with my online account, but this would give you information on your syncing things. So the place you go to create your sync is you go to, I think, okay, so if you're on a Mac, you're going to select EndNote 21 or EndNote 20, and then you go to settings. If you're on a Windows, it's going to be edit and preferences. All right, so then from there, there's this list. You select sync. And then here you select enable sync, right? And it's going to walk you through the process of creating an EndNote Online account. And it doesn't have, well, I recommend using your UAB email address to create it. That way, if you ever have a problem and you have to contact EndNote support, they're going to know that you have a subscription through UAB, and you'll have access to more resources that way. But they're really great if you ever have to call them. If you ever like lose, if your computer crashes and you have to like retrieve your citations, that'd be an example of when you probably will call them to ask you to ask them to help you retrieve your stuff. But yeah, so I recommend that when you create this, that you use your UAB email address to create it, but use your UAB email address, create a password, and then it'll walk you through the steps to enable your sync. And then from there, like if you have this box selected where it says sync automatically, it'll be working in the background for you. So every time you make any change to your EndNote account, your EndNote desktop account is going to automatically sync it to the cloud, and you'll be fine. So I do recommend doing that. All right, so yeah, once you download it, let me see. Okay, go here. Trying to go to UAB on the hub. And I'm going to sign in. But yeah, you can download it to both of your computers. And then, okay, so I definitely recommend for you, if you want to, if you want to connect those two libraries, those two different computers, you definitely want to make sure you sync your desktop to your online account. And that way, since they're both working in the background, syncing, when you open the device on either computer, you should be fine. It's going to constantly sync to the cloud, and then upload your both of your libraries. Okay, so once you've downloaded it one time, it's going to be in your cart. So then you just go to your orders, and like here it has that I have it already. So I will go to view details. And this is important. I did not say this before, but when you are downloading this software, you're going to need to copy this product key, because it's going to ask you for that. So make sure you do that when you're downloading it, that you copy that product key. And when you're downloading the software, when it asks you for it, paste that into the box. But anyway, all you're going to have to do, you can just click download onto this for your second computer and just download the product key, and you should be fine. All right, any other questions? All right, well, this concludes today's workshop. If you have any questions, feel free to follow up with us at the library. But you can also reach out to me. Let's see if my contact information is on here. Doesn't look like it is. But you can use our UAB, you can go to our website and use the chat with us feature, or you can ask for me. That's fine. And I can put my, hey, let me give this to everyone. Here's my email. Feel free to reach out to me by email. All right, so you all are going to get the recording, and I will follow up with you all with those questions that came up today. All right, well, you all enjoy the rest of your day. You are welcome.